like I told my last wife. I says, honey, I never drive faster than I can see. Besides that, it's all in the reflexes.
His name is Jack Burton, and although he has all the makings of being a hero, he isn't quite there yet.
Stacy! Oh, yeah.
Kurt Russell plays Jack Burton, an unlikely hero who finds himself in circumstances beyond his wildest imagination.
He's a blustery sort of blowhard who has a lot of self-assurance, and it really is not too handy. I think he's a lot of fun because he gets himself into a lot of trouble, gets out of it, but not the way that he thought he was going to get out of it.
Follow the leader. 1, 2, 3. We may be trapped.
I would start it right here. Okay. And as he comes in to hit him, I would pull back like this. Got it. Okay?
Yeah. The movie is Big Trouble in Little China, directed by John Carpenter. Best known for the horror classic Halloween, the critically acclaimed Escape from New York, and the Oscar-nominated Starman.
Big Trouble in Little China is my 11th film as a director, and it is a action, adventure, comedy, kung fu, ghost story, monster movie, everything you can imagine. This story takes place at modern-day times in a big city in the United States, and what we do with the audience is start them in reality and slowly take them into the fantasy. And it's an incorporation of kind of American sensibilities and Chinese mythologies.
It all begins when the Lords of Death kidnap the fiancée of Jack's friend Wang Chi, played by Dennis Dunn.
I don't think I'm so much a psychic as we're kind of like two guys together, like in the tradition of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Because constantly you could tell we like each other, but we're always going, what are you doing? Come on.
Also at Jack's side is Chinatown lawyer Gracie Law, played by Kim Cattrall.
Hey!
Sorry, I'm just thrilled to be alive.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. We always do get along, but we're just two completely different kind of people. He sees things and approaches things from a very physical point of view, whereas I approach things from a very mental point of view.
They took the key.
Don't you have a spare?
Of course I do, but it's underneath the... Oh. Hang on!
I don't understand why he can't just think, or he can't just realize how it's going to work.
Sorry.
So there is clashes and, of course, attraction involved with that as well, as life will have it.
Joining our trio in this action-packed adventure is fashion model Susie Pye as the kidnapped fiancée. Stage and television actress Kate Burton makes her feature film debut as an eager but inexperienced reporter. Victor Wong portrays the mysterious magician Egg Shen.
Cheers!
And James Hong is his mortal enemy, the most feared figure in Chinese legend, David Lo Pan.
The 2,000-year-old man, that's the David Lo Pan that has traveled through the history of China over 2,000 years, looking for this girl with the green eyes, you know, and just keep looking, and he's looking constantly for... It gets kind of tired after 2,000 years.
Very quiet, please. Mark. Action.
Rigorous physical demands were required of all the actors in order to make their way through the treacherous world beneath Chinatown.
1, 2.
Every day on the set, Dennis Dunn practiced martial arts in preparation for fight sequences against creatures both real and unreal. For once our band of adventurers enter the domain of David Lo Pan, they find big trouble waiting around every corner. The fantastical creatures and visual effects were created under the watchful eye of Academy Award winner Richard Edlund, who reached into the world of Chinese mythology for his inspiration.
Action!
The Chinese culture is one of the oldest cultures in the world, and they have an enormously interesting background of demons, myths, and so on. And since they've had a number of thousands of years to refine all of this, you know, we're getting, in the 20th century, we get the distillation of millennia of Chinese fantasy.
What's happening, Wang? Chinese standoff. A what? Don't make a sound.
To ensure authenticity, a large cast and crew of Asian Americans were assembled, offering expertise ranging from martial arts instruction to knowledge of Chinese legend. The most unpredictable characters from Chinese mythology are the three storms: thunder, lightning, and rain. A powerful trio who packed some unusual weaponry, and who presented the greatest challenge to costume designer April Ferry, who also created James Hong's elaborate robes and Susie Pie's traditional wedding attire.
I just wanted to kind of create something that was authentic looking, but that was still really a fantasy. And the most challenging one to make was the bamboo armor, because it is authentic, that bamboo. But to figure out how it must have been done years ago and how we could do it now and still have the actor be able to move in it. And each actor would come in and they'd do their martial arts kicks, and we would adjust the costume to their needs.
But I think the biggest challenge of all is the overview of all this, is to pack all this in a little compartment, juggling all these elements, the elements of fantasy and comedy and action.
It's got suspense and thrills and chills and all that, but this is, to me, basically a good, fun time. You get your $5 worth. You go in, lay it down, and come out, and I think you'll come out smiling and you've had a good time. A hell of a wild ride.
If an action film is what you want for Christmas, then catch Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell in, yes, a buddy movie. They play two rival cops, does this sound familiar, who join forces to seek revenge against organized crime for setting them up. Now, 10 years ago, Stallone said he wouldn't have felt comfortable sharing the screen with another star. Now he can, and he's anxious to have a hit movie that doesn't have the name Rocky or Rambo in the title. Stallone and Russell invited Premiere to spend a wild and revealing 24 hours on the set of Tango and Cash.
You know me, huh?
Yeah, I hear you're the second best cop in LA.
That's funny. I hear the same thing about you.
Tango. People think I go, yo, and drool a great deal, which is not altogether wrong, but not altogether right.
Yo, what movie am I in? Yeah.
Meet Gabe Cash.
You know you're in trouble when the guy you're working with thinks that Rocky is an ensemble picture.
It is an ensemble picture. There's 6 characters in it. Say, he'll... What was it, a one-man show?
The first 10 minutes may have been ensemble, but I got news for you, pal.
Dramatic, romantic, intense, passive, demonstrative, the full gamut. Did you sleep with my sister?
I was so drunk, I don't remember, okay?
When all else fails, we pull out clattering teeth and whoopee cushions. We'll do anything, guys.
We're not ashamed. We'll try.
Throw me a ball. We'll do anything, yes. We're available for parties.
Action! In this picture, I had a very specific wish to be in a picture with, you know, big league players, or a big league player. And I was hoping for something that was action-oriented.
Right now!
Never seen so much.
Two modern-day gladiators just whipping their chiffon into a frenzy. There's a certain aura that I have brought to films. I said, well, either it's big budget or this and that, or there's going to be more killing or this. And so right away, they'll try to pigeonhole this as a blood fest, which it isn't at all.
They thought they could kill me, but they couldn't. Zukowski lives. I came back. I'm alive. Thanks to Tango and Cash.
Yeah, there's blood on him, okay? Man can't shave. He shaves, he cuts his own wrist. You tell me about it, okay? You think he's ready for the ballet? No, it's a different vehicle entirely.
There's no blood.
This is like blood. No, it is a different vehicle. I would say this one here is witty.
We'll take it.
No, that's one of a kind. We won't put a scratch on it. It's totally dependent upon its wit. If we come out as half-wits, we're in half trouble, okay?
It's lighter fare.
It is.
It's not as heavy as I think.
Yeah, easy listening, MOR. And Kurt gets to show his legs.
Anybody not ready?
Which is really a great breakthrough
Finally
in
get to wear a
transsexual
dress.
acting. You know, you can always come back as Kitty Hawk.
Oh, God, I've waited 28 years.
Yes,
wear the dress.
I'm telling you, when you see Kurt in pantyhose, you're going to get a whole new dimension of the man.
He's going to turn some heads.
I'm telling you, you're going to snap some necks.
Hey, Mark.
Lately, I think there's been a trend towards entertainment, escapism, where violence or hardcore action is diffused by a little bit of wit or a turn of a phrase at the end of a scene. And I think, like in Lethal Weapon, when he kills two people with a nail gun, he goes, "Oh, stick around," or "nailed you both." I mean, boom, boom. It diffuses it. The audience can let it out. And I think that's pretty much what the personality and the trend of this film is not. It's not real.
We're not really killing people. We're destroying property and equipment.
Now we're making moves. Guys, watch for hot grass coming this way, all right?
Rambo, no problem.
Oh!
The way it really is, okay? Oh! Most people think that, like, when I do Rambo, I live like Rambo, I dress like Rambo, but that's a character, it's a performance. I don't adhere to his politics. I don't adhere to his lifestyle, obviously. I'd like to say a few words.
On behalf of James.
Are you bald? Does your head keep slipping off the pillow at night? When you go bowling, the people stick two fingers in your ears. This is the man to talk to. Well, I got a project called Fuzzo. I got a letter from a satisfied customer saying I've been using Fuzzo for 9 out of 40 years. I got the hairiest fingertips I ever saw. Yeah.
I had a feeling that we might click because I just have admired what he's done as an actor and a director, and certainly as a writer.
Now, my look is where? I'm looking right into the light. There.
Right? Should be right there?
We talk. We direct one another. With Kurt, basically, if I think that he has a few more gears to go, and he's still in first, and I think he can go to third, I tell him to push it. Sometimes he's a little hesitant. I said, well, are we going over the top? No. And then we do it, and he goes, not bad.
I hate you karate guys.
You do put your heart into it, and sometimes it just doesn't work. It falls apart.
Once more. Will somebody get a gun that works?
If you have any soul at all, if you have any sensitivity, if you feel as though you have an artistic bent, If it doesn't work, I don't care. If it doesn't bother them, they're liars. Because that's what you're all about, is sensitivity. Sure, it hurts, and you feel it. You feel every bit of. You feel guilty, you feel anger, you feel frustration, and you go out and you try to amend it with the next film. But it's not easy. It really is not easy.
I'm just telling you what Kurt was doing. He had either taken one or two out here, definitely one out over there. He had come into this position, he thought he was safe. Sly had made his way down. Another gentleman comes out from behind, and Sly had taken that person out. Now
the contract call for 5 casualties.
Now they're...
If you don't like this film, write Kurt, okay? I will be in Nepal, leading donkey herds up the side of the hill.
And if she's hiding on that blueberry hill, am I gonna find her, child? You know I will, 'cause I've been searching.
We've been working today, I guess we're now into our 15th hour, and I still think we're doing pretty good, seriously. We've had nothing but a lot of fun and a lot of creativity, and we've been in each other's, you might say, space, face-to-face for 18 weeks, and that's remarkable. That's a world record. Actually,
longer than any of our...
Longer than most of my marriages.
Have lasted, yeah.
Take my wife, please.
Sure, Bob.
Someone did already. Let's say I've had a rather flamboyant marital career, and I thought I'd let that cool for a century or two. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It was like having a vacation in Pompeii, you know, 2,000 years ago, setting up deck chairs on the Titanic. It was not a good time. So I thought, okay, now it's good. We group, get more career-oriented. I spend a great deal of painting. I do a great deal of playing polo, riding, and I'm enjoying my life more than I have in the past, I don't know what, 5, 6 minutes.
This is not a lonely man, Ben. Please don't let him give you that
It
expression.
is true. I do. I go home with Squeaky, my frog, and I crawl into bed.
There's a reason that the tires on his butts are flat. Okay?
Vandals. They're all vandals out there. I believe that most people that really have to act have it's like an unformed personality. There's a little madness there, a little insecurity, a little unbalance, a little fantasy. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
The people in this business are generally fabulous.
All right.
There's nothing you can do where you can make this much money and have this much fun and not work.
He's coming this way, I'm going this way.
He nails these guys, I nail them
guys.
in the next pattern. And X will mark it. Yeah. Anyone asks me, what should you do for a living? I say, do something for a living that you would do for free.
That's right. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah, you should.
So?
Yeah. But.
So what I'm thinking about is, I don't like to pay you anymore. You would find...
Is back in John Carpenter's Escape from L.A. 15 years after they made the classic Escape from New York, Carpenter and Kurt Russell have reunited to bring Snake into the 21st century.
This is Kurt's idea of an outrageous action hero.
Look in my face when I talk to you.
He has an ultimate hatred of authority that is comical somehow.
Black box is a matter of national security.
What's it do?
Top secret. Only on a need to know.
Evidently, I don't need to know, so fuck you. I'm going to Hollywood.
Snake's such a great character because he's so cool. I just get a kick out of Snake.
Catches on quick, doesn't she?
It's one of the most amazing, visually stunning pictures I've ever seen. I mean, it's really just stunt-filled, action-filled.
Part of the fun of this movie is that you find Snake Plissken in a situation where he's got to surf his way out of it.
It's the biggest kick-ass movie I've ever done.
Welcome to L.A.
You're Snake Plissken, ain't you? I thought you were dead.
Hey.
York was a very dark view of the near future. So it wasn't a science fiction film that took place on another planet or in a spaceship or anything like that. It dealt really with things that you could see, like street gangs and buildings and darkness. I wrote it right out of film school in 1974. And it wasn't made till '81 because it was deemed to be too dark, and we treated the president with not enough respect. I think I wrote the movie originally for Charles Bronson or Clint Eastwood, and here comes Kurt Russell, who's a really, really great actor. This guy can act in anything. He can act any part. So off we went on Escape, and it's one of my favorite films.
It was done with the kind of sense of humor that we knew if the audience took it right, that they could have a great time with it.
I'm not a fool, Pliskin.
Call me Snake.
That looks like Snake Plissken. I hear you slowed down soon.
You didn't look that slow, Clerval.
Kurt Russell and I had been talking about doing a sequel to this movie since about 1985. We were on an airplane coming back from New York, and we said, wouldn't it be great to go back and revisit it? And the gloom and doom and horror of New York that was going on when I wrote the original script basically has kind of moved out here to the West Coast. We'd had earthquakes, riots, mudslides, and fires in Los Angeles and figured, you know, well, now we have a story.
In a period there of about 2 years, it seemed to all go at once. And the city, all of a sudden, became just a great place to escape from.
You can't just be walking around town without knowing the ropes. You take the wrong street, you're dead, pal.
Cut!
Good.
Let's see, one more rehearsal, please. Here we go.
I've worked with John certainly more than anybody else in my life. We've now made 5 movies together, and I find him to have a great dry sense of humor, an ultimate hatred of authority that is comical somehow, and a strange way of looking at the world.
Okay, one more time. Here we go.
I like that part of John.
See, that's fantastic. Can we handle that?
Sure.
Great.
There's a part of John that's Snake Plissken. It's that sort of anti-establishment.
And cut. Oh, yeah, mama. Yeah. Personally, I kind of share this disdain for authority that Pliskin has. It's kind of adolescent, kind of stuck in adolescence attitude. Yeah, I enjoy that. Doesn't get me very far in life, but I still kind of hold it dear to my heart.
And Kutsky, all right.
Cuts, if you do. We share a lot in common about drama and timing and so forth. And we have a lot of respect for each other's job. And one of the reasons Kurt wanted to do this and got me back into it was, let's have some fun again. Let's have a blast. And he was right. It was an absolute blast to do it.
It's just an aftershock. No big deal. We get them all the time.
Part of the fun of this movie is that we wanted to take this guy into a world that had changed.
So we assume that in the year 1999, there's a gigantic earthquake that separates Los Angeles from the mainland. So it's now an island. And some of the areas of town are still somewhat intact, and some are wasteland. So Los Angeles is the deportation island for all the morally guilty people. That would include runaways, pornographers, drug dealers. I'd probably be sent there myself, as a matter of fact.
You may have escaped from New York, but this is LA, and this city can kill anybody!
Cuervo Jones is a South American revolutionary. He runs with a paramilitary revolutionary group called Shining Path. And their goal is to take back North America.
Are you ready for the new world?
But Snake Plissken, once again, is brought into duty by the United States Police Force. And he has to kind of run a gauntlet to get this doomsday device from Cuervo Jones, which has the possibility of basically turning out the lights on the world, plunging it into the dark ages.
Sad story. You gotta smoke.
Explain to this foot soldier why he's going to do what we tell him to do.
What's he talking about? The Platoxin 7 virus.
He's a wanted man, and they force him to go on this mission by injecting him with a deadly virus that will kill him within 10 hours.
Of course, there is an antidote.
Which I will personally authorize once your mission is completed.
And that's kind of the modus operandi of the snake character. You have to force him to do something. He won't do it for a cause. You have to say, you have no choice, pal, you're going to die. I think the main reason that the first movie's popularity has remained is the main character. He's the baddest guy in the bad world.
He is legendary in his meanness and in his toughness to the world.
Nobody draws until this hits the ground. Draw.
Just left you wondering what made that guy so mean and so contrary to everything, everybody.
Thanks for not killing me, man. I owe you one.
The great thing I think that's fun to do with this character is we humiliate Snake.
Funny though, I thought you'd be taller.
Just sort of brushes it off. It's a part of life and moves on.
We're holograms, Pliskin.
John and I have always gotten a kick out of, well, what if we did this with Snake? And then we look at each other and say, man, that's really funny, but it really makes him look bad. And we go, yeah, that's good.
By the way, who gives me the antidote? The medical team will be standing by. Neither one of you? No. Good. Bye-bye, Snake. Good luck.
Oh, shit.
I'm always worried whenever we're doing any stunts, and particularly when you have an actor like Kurt Russell who likes to do his own stunt work. Jeff Amata, who was our stunt coordinator, and John Carpenter worked very closely on the set together and developed some remarkable action-filled scenes for Kurt Russell.
Cut and print.
It was quite difficult keeping him off the motorcycle.
In this sequence, Snake Plissken sees a caravan going by with Cuervo Jones, who has a black box. So Snake proceeds to eliminate 19 guys from the back forward.
I was going straight out. I hit an even speed. I'll stay there. Okay, you take your own timing. When it hits me, I'll let it go. Right on. All right.
I think part of the fun of this movie is the different kinds of action. Dude, is that you, Snake? The tsunami sequence with Peter Fonda. It's going to be a blast to watch. Whoa. What is that? Tsunami, Snake. Tsunami, woo!
I wrote this scene where Pliskin and this old surfer surf down Wilshire Canyon. And it's one of those scenes where you read it and you say, well, there's no way we can do this.
Man, this is going to be some kind of bitch ride. Let's go, come on. Woo!
Peter can tell you all about it. Peter's the expert. He's a surfer, you know, he knows all about it. He knows how to ride a tsunami.
Here's the secret. As told to Snake Plissken by pipeline.
Let the front edge pick you up. Don't get on your board till you ride to the top. And don't blow it, man. If you fall off the board, it's the big white high.
Finished.
Got it? Woo! Bitchin'.
Sure enough, somewhere in your life, there comes the time when a tsunami is on the way. You've been shot in the leg. You're in Wilshire Canyon, and there's no way out other than to surf out of it.
Hang on, Snake.
Ow! If you can imagine the force of any tidal wave, we've managed to put together some great effects on it, and it's just fantastic.
Later.
One of the ways that we approached what Los Angeles would look like is that we sort of said, okay, if there was an earthquake of this size, what would be left? There would certainly be some areas that would exist. There would be other areas that would be reduced to total rubble. Creating the earthquake was hard because we have crashes. We built the Bonaventure Hotel and we're crashing that. We have the spectacular tsunami. The freeway overpass collapse is actually one of those 4 changes, and so it's sort of stacked up.
John wanted the 4-level interchange to collapse.
So the only way to do that is to build it, and build it big. This thing is capable of shaking, moving up and down, getting a big shock wave moving through it. All the columns have breaking points inside, which when we shoot the final collapse, they'll mushroom out. This whole thing basically will come down. All these cars that are going to be on the freeway are all radio controlled, so we can drive them in, we can smash them to the railings, we can have them get into wrecks with each other. We'll have a giant tractor trailer come through the second level at camera.
When we roll cameras, we're going to do it, because once we're committed, we're committed.
Roll cameras, clear!
Action!
We are on Sunset Boulevard, circa 2013, after a major earthquake. What I tried to do is build up a very textured, layered look. We've literally moved 29 tons of concrete rubble, and we've dressed all the streets with just massive concrete pieces. There's a whole different kind of energy that takes place when you do this type of set.
That set was interesting because scientists like to say, this couldn't happen in Los Angeles, even if there was a big earthquake. Well, if you've seen any of those pictures of China, then you know that that's what Sunset Boulevard could very well look like if there was a really big earthquake.
Don't shoot. Well, I've been hanging out around here for more years than I want to think about, but I never thought I'd see Snake Plissken cruising Sunset Boulevard. I'm after the stars, Eddie.
We tried to think of a character who would be indigenous to L.A., and it's Map to the Stars Eddie is a kind of a sleazebag talent agent who sells maps.
Welcome to your very own Map to the Stars.
It's me. And then runs around making deals and sells everyone out. He's a very familiar character to anyone who's worked in Hollywood.
Yeah, she's gonna love you, Snake. You're gonna love her, too. We're gonna make this thing happen. Oh, by the way, I'm through with Cuervo. Guy's got no sense of loyalty whatsoever.
He's on any side that will benefit him.
Oh, Cuervo, it's so good to see you.
He's a survivor. He's a go-getter. He's a do-gooder and a bedwetter. He's just a funny guy.
When John and I and Kurt were approaching the casting of the movie, we wanted to do is cast around Snake Plissken some really interesting personas. So we decided that what we might do is to go sort of retro casting. Okay. So Cliff Robertson plays the President of the United States.
I've got to go to my quarters. I've got to pray.
Stacy Keach plays Cliff Robertson's right-hand man, Malloy.
The United States is a no-smoking nation. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no women.
Valeria Golina plays Tess Lima.
If you want to make noise, go and find another bush.
And Cuervo Jones is played by George Corfach.
Bend over, Mr. President. Time for a spanking.
He's a trained revolutionary. He's after power. He's after control. And he's very smart. Not as smart as Snake Plissken, but almost.
Now is the time to rise up and demand the surrender of the president.
Utopia is the president's daughter, and she's rebelling against her father, who's become like this dictator. And Cuervo Jones manipulates her and convinces her that she can help him save the world. So she does that. She hijacks a plane, takes off, and becomes Cuervo's queen.
We're going to start our way back to glory!
All I'd heard auditioning was innocent, young, you know, naive. I did not see anything about lingerie.
Surgical failures. They live here. Too many implants and facelifts over the years. Their muscles turn to jello.
Deborah wrote this scene where Beverly Hills is inhabited by surgical failures who capture people who are live specimens, bring them in there, cut them up, and sew them onto their bodies.
We're both dead meat.
So to pull this off, I went to Rick Baker, who's the best special effects makeup guy in the world.
The makeups are all kind of based on real plastic surgery kind of techniques, only done a little more crudely. We have a lot of, cheekbone implants and, too much collagen in the lips and just, kind of poor taste
Plastic surgery is what we've done. It's pretty strange quarters inside there with some pretty strange looking people. It makes you wonder where cosmetic surgery might go.
We created the Surgeon General of Beverly Hills, and this is a guy who's always looking for plastic surgery parts.
These are no good. I can't work with garbage like this.
This role needed somebody to play it in a real way and yet be completely tweaked. And Bruce Campbell can play tweaked like nobody's business.
What a beautiful blue eye. Shame he only has one. Nurse?
Cut. Very nice.
I mean, there are a couple of masks and looks in that scene that are obviously over the top. But in terms of Bruce, we wanted you to think, you know, I've seen people like this walking around the streets.
The Surgeon General is a little bit of a cross between Michael Jackson and Siegfried and Roy. You know, it's just kind of plastic surgery taken a little too far.
We have the slightly pointed nose. It's undergone a few too many shavings. The veneer teeth, a little too white and straight. And then we've done the Kirk Douglas chin, because everyone would want a Kirk Douglas chin.
And I wanted to give him bad hair plugs.
We've got the little bit of the doll's head going here. People are a little embarrassed, though. They'll see me on the set and go, "That's not your hair, is it?"
86A, take one.
I would have cut him.
Very nice. Jason, what did you think?
In Escape from New York, Snake was taken at one point and thrown to the wolves, you know, to be the evening's entertainment. And it was clubs with nails and trash can lids. Very, what's the word? Gladiatorial, you know. So this one, I came up with this little game that Cuervo likes to put his prisoners through. And it came off of an idea that John had about a basketball 24-second shot clock. If you didn't get the shot off before the buzzer went, you got shot.
It was sort of a Millennium Gladiator sequence. And we thought about going to the Forum, we thought about going to all these basketball places, and then it occurred to me that the greatest place to be the LA Coliseum because it's such a huge area. And what you could do with an empty Coliseum would be a really kind of moody thing.
This is insane.
It is. That's the point.
Game time!
So we bring Snake into that. I guess the hope there was to let the audience sort of think, okay, what are they going to do this time?
All you gotta do is make 10 points. By the way, nobody's ever walked off that court alive. Nobody.
Got it.
Both John Carpenter and Kurt Russell wanted the character of Snake Plissken to actually make the basket rather than through Hollywood magic.
We wanted to get me making the baskets. We wanted to get me in the same shot as the ball going in the hoop, and we wanted to do as many in a row as we could.
So we set up a basketball hoop for Kurt so that the 50-so nights of shooting that we did before we got to the Coliseum, he could rehearse every night, and he got to be a pretty good ball player.
That's the one. You got it on film, didn't you? Yeah, it's there forever. Thanks. Print it. The problem here is that I can't wear my glasses, and I have to have the eye patch on. See this here? Black. Watch. Follow the ball to the hoop.
He's been hitting them, but...
Yeah, it's that eye patch.
The eye patch.
It was pretty hard because of the one eye. And also because if you're going to do it a lot of times, you're going to get tired.
We'll just keep trying it over and over again.
Here we go, guys and gals.
Be camera marks.
Keep mark. And action.
I guess I went up and down the court about 150 times during the night. I got pretty tired.
Get into you.
Almost, man. I thought it was in.
It was kind of a night where I began to feel my age a little. The hardest thing about it, though, was having been an athlete that performed in front of people before, you like to do well. Not fun to go out there in front of a lot of people and fail miserably and not be able to get the basket in the hoop. Very quickly on in the evening, bets were flowing, and I won a lot of people some money, and I lost a lot of people some money.
Eventually, we made every basket there. There was a layup. There was a jump shot. There was a three-pointer. There was a mid-court shot. Then there's a full-court lob. But I don't think I'll give away how the scene ends. I don't think I should.
I'm here, Pliskin. Have you got the black box?
I can get your precious little box back, but I'm gonna need more time, you understand?
You listen to me, Pliskin. That little headache that just kicked in will only get worse. You're starting to feel the effects of the virus. Now, you bear that in mind.
Snake has a time clock to work against if he wants to live, but he's a guy that can survive. So he will figure out a way.
This is big. It's Snake Plissken. I brought him here to see you, Hershey.
What's in it for me?
I know that voice. You're Carjack Malone.
Not anymore.
Snake and Carjack, we were buddies. And at the time when we were buddies, I was a man. And I'm no longer a man, and it surprised him.
You looked a little different in those days, Carjack.
You get one thing straight, Pliskin. I'm no longer Carjack Malone. I'm Hershey Les Palmas, the most drop-dead to die for number you ever laid that one eye on.
I said to John, I said, why can't we just take a character that's a transsexual and just make him a guy that Snake kind of likes? A guy, girl, he, she, so that's for that. Hershey is the name of the character. So John started laughing. He started liking the idea of this character.
Why should we leave? I love L.A.
Pam Grier did some really fun, very hip stuff, and she's terrific.
So how are we going to get out?
I'll tell you that when we get there.
Oh, Pliskin, man, you are such a loser, man. Making up shit along the way. No deal.
Government chopper. It'll be there.
Okay, that's better.
Hershey wants to kill Snake, but ends up helping Snake.
The wind's up. Come on, let's go!
We have a hang glider attack on the Happy Kingdom, and our heroes take off from the Queen Mary downtown. They fly through downtown Los Angeles, and there's a giant attack on this amusement park.
It's a battle sequence that is certainly unparalleled in any movie that I've ever worked in.
There's thousands of extras, hundreds of stunts, people flying in on hang gliders, fist fights happening.
It's all at night, and it involves all sorts of stunts, all sorts of action. We've just had a blast doing it.
Escape from L.A. is kind of a tour through L.A., through Snake Plissken's eyes.
You're gonna see some pretty cool stuff. You gotta be kidding me.
You've never seen anything like it.
It is a great ride, and it is a great escape.
I told you you'd better hope I didn't make it back.